Hello students, today I will talk about the 7 Matrikas in Indian sculptures. These Matrikas are placed in the various temples and other religious places in India and are carved beautifully by the various master artists. The main objective of today's lecture is to throw light on the 7 Matrikas in Indian sculpture, how these locally worshipped mothers occupied prominent position in the major temples and sculptures of India and entered into the mainstream. Stone inscriptions of Tantra worship to Matrikas are found in the various important places. The noted places are Gangadhar in Rajasthan has been identified as the first epigraphic evidence. This place belongs to King Vishwavarman of 423 CE. The same has been done by the Guptas of the 5th century in Bihar and in UP by Swami Bhatta of 6th century. A stone slab from the early Kushana period represents the Matrikas as ordinary females without any symbols. Standing in a row, these females have their right hands raised in Abhay Mudra, while they have water vessels held by their suspended left hands. All of them are decked with the heavy jewelry. They are shown wearing skirts in place of the usual dhoti. These female figures are 7 in number and are flanked on either side by a male figure with his right hand in Abhay Mudra and a long spear held in his left hand. This sculpture is from Dhanogan near Mathura, now in Mathura Museum. Another slab from Kevala near Met. A group of 6 Matrikas accompanied by the Ayudha Purshas. One more stone slab belonging to the Kushana period from Jamalpur represents 7 Matrikas are seated in a row. One relief from Kankali Tilla, now in the Mathura Museum, belonging to the Kushan period, shows the Divine Mothers seated to front with their feet placed on footstools. Another relief from Mathura Museum of the same period is noteworthy. The Kailashnath temple in Kanchipuram of Tamil Nadu is considered as one of the oldest depictions of the Saptamatrikas. It was built during the Pallava dynasty in the reign of Narasimha Varmane. These Saptamatrikas sculptures can be seen in most of the Chola temples in Tamil Nadu and other parts of South India also. The development in the sculptures of Saptamatrikas can be traced from the Gupta period, 3rd to 6th century AD. Gurjara Pratiharas to 10th century AD. Chandhelas 9th to 10th, 11th and 12th century. Chalukyans 11th to 13th century. Pallavas and Cholas 7th to 9th century. Gokharnvara temple at Tirukonhanam has been constructed during the 7th century AD. The earliest inscription found in this cave temple is written in Grantha character of the 7th and 8th century. The style of the temple resembles with the Pallava cave temples. Few scholars are of the view that it would be the creation of the Pandyas. On the right side of the cave are carved Saptamatrikas accompanied with Veerabhadra and Ganesha. Veerabhadra is followed by Brahmi, who is also shown with 4 hands. Next to her is a Maheshwari, depicted with 2 hands. She is followed by Vaishnavi, depicted with 2 arms wearing Karnada Mukta. Next is Indrani and Varahi. The last and 7th Matrika is Chamunda, who is shown holding a knife in one of her hands. She is also wearing a Mundamala. Ganesha is carved at the last as his regular position in Saptamatrika group. Jarai Ka Mat is in Panch Yatna style in Barua Sagar, situated in Jhansi district of UP. The sanctum door is elaborately carved. The lintel has 4 rows of figures. The uppermost row show 5 dancing figures. One of them is Saraswati holding a veena. These include Gajalakshmi, Brahmi, Maheshwari in the left, and Saraswati, Vaishnavi, Indrani in the right. The lower panel attached to this Lalata Binlas display Navgraha on left and Saptamatrikas accompanied with Veerabhadra and Ganesh on the right. Brahma is on the left and Shiva is on the right. In Orissa, a row of 9 figures constituting an early group of the Saptamatrikas with Ganesh and Veerabhadra is carved on the north wall of the Parshurameshwara temple of circa 650 AD at Bhubaneswar. They are Chamunda, Varahi, Indrani, Vaishnavi, Kumari, Maheshwari, Brahmi, flanked by Ganesha and Veerabhadra. All the figures are 4-armed except Veerabhadra, who has only 2 arms. Chamunda has a lily bud and a Vija Puraka in the upper and the lower right hand. Her vehicle is owl carved on the pedestal. The drooping breasts, sunken belly, bones in the body are noteworthy characters. Varahi holds a lotus and a fish in the right hand, and a kuthara and a vase in the left. A human figure seated with its hands placed on the ground is carved on the pedestal. Vaishnavi has a shankha, a chakra and a vase in 650 AD. Kumari holds a Vijapuraka in the right hand and a long spear in the left. Indrani holds a Vajra in the left hand and a vase in the right, with an elephant in between 2 tripods on the pedestal. Maheshwari has an Akshmala and a Vijapuraka in the right hand and a Gadda and a trident in the left. Brahmi has an Akshmala and a Vijapuraka in the right hands and a Kitaki flower and a vase in the left. Ganesha and Veerabhadra are with their usual attributes. The ceiling of the Jagmohana of the Mukteshwara temple contains the figure of the Saptamatrikas. Each figure occupies one on the petals of the 8-petaled lotus at the center, conceived in the form of a canopy. These figures constitute a group of the 7 Matrikas with Vaireshwara. All the Matrikas except Chamunda hold babies in her arms. Vaireshwara holds a sword in the right hand. The presiding deity is the largest image of Chamunda. All the Matrikas have characteristics common to them all. The entire group is headed by Vireshwara. All are seated in yoga asana on full blown lotuses with 2 flying Vidyadharas. They can be seen at the top corners, and their pedestals are occupied by certain common objects such as a jug with protruding lip and loop handle, and a tripod with a cup containing mudakas and an incense burner. The head of the deity is surrounded by a halo, Maheshwari with a bull on the pedestal and with an akshmala and a trident in the upper hands. Akkar to the left of Brahmi, Kumari is to be found with her peacock on the pedestal. Narayani is identified by Shankha, Chakra, Gadda and Padma. The so-headed Varahi occurs with a fish and a battle axe. A male devotee is seated on Ganesha and the hands placed on the feet. Indra has a thunderbolt in her left hand and an elephant shown seated on the pedestal. Chamunda is covered with a piece of cloth. She has sunken eyes and a corpse under her feet with a jackal dragging. It indicates her to be a terrific goddess. Vareshwara, the first in the group, is 4-handed with an akshmala and a trident in the 2 upper hands and a Vijapuraka in the lower left. The palm of the lower right being shown upturned. Nandi is on the pedestal. A rectangular panel from Abaneri, now in the Amer Museum, belonging to the 8th century Italy, represents Lord Shiva in a dancing pose in the presence of the Divine Mother and Bhairava. From the left side, Maheshwari, 2-handed, is holding a trident and the left one is broken. She has 3rd eyes on the forehead. Vaishnavi is holding a conch and a garland. The dancing Shiva is 4-handed, wearing a lion's skin, and the bull stands behind. Varahi holds Khatavanga and fish. Kaumari is holding a cock and a peacock, touching the right breast on the right. Indrani holds an Ankusha. Bhairava, 4-handed, with his emaciated body. One more panel from Rajasthan is in the collection of National Museum, New Delhi. Here, the mounts and a child in the lap of each goddess are not shown. Besides, these figures of Ganesha and Veerabhadra are also missing. A relief of the medieval period, now in the Mathura Museum from Khagrola, UP, represents only 3 mothers and others being lost. They are Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Varahi. All are 3-armed, seated side by side in Bhadrasana pose with both their legs pendant. Kaumari has a long spear in her front left hand. Her mount, the peacock, is shown in between her legs, that she is offering something from her front right hand. Vaishnavi is holding her front right hand in the Varada, a mace in her upraised back right hand, a chakra in the back left hand. She is shown sporting a standing baby by her front left hand hold low. Baby is touching the breast of mother with his left hand. A Garuda is seated to her right with his right hand held over his head. Varahi is keeping her front right hand on her thigh and holding a trident and a bell by her back right and front left hands. Her Vahana is seated on the pedestal towards her right with its front part raised up. The Saptamatrika panel in the Rewa district of Madhya Pradesh is unique. Here, all the 7 Matrikas along Veerabhadra and Ganesha are shown dancing. Veerabhadra holds veena and a trident and is accompanied by the bull. Ganesha, in his dancing pose, holds a bowl of sweets and is accompanied by his rat. The 7 mothers are shown dancing in the similar manner, and each is carrying a baby, holding appropriate emblems and accompanied by the respective Vahana. The composite figures of the Saptamatrikas are very rare. A pink-colored sandstone panel from Rewa in Madhya Pradesh, now in Allahabad Museum, represents the composite figure of the mothers accompanied by Veerabhadra and Ganesha. Veerabhadra is half dancing and half seated with his usual attributes. These Saptamatrikas are in their common forms. The sculpture is dated about 11th century AD. Composite figure of the Divine Mothers depicting them in groups of more than 7 have also been found from various places of North India. The Siddhartha temple of Named, Madhya Pradesh, has 8 matrikas. There are reliefs from Mathura and adjoining places. Separate reliefs of the matrikas and their guardians are also common. The images of 3 matrikas from Mukti Mandapa, now in Jaipur, possesses Varahi, Indrani and Chamunda. The so-faced Varahi is terrific with hairs rising high on the forehead in corkscrew curls. She is pot-bellied and her buffalo mount beneath the conch is remarkable. She sits Ardha Priyanka pose. Front left hand supports a child. Indrani wears a high conical headdress. Chamunda look like a skeleton without flesh, seated on prostrate human body. The sacred Markandeshwar tank at Puri has also the figures of 5 matrikas. They are Brahmi, Maheshwari, Varahi and Indrani. They are 4-armed and seated in the Ardha Priyanka pose on a conch, with one of the legs pendant and the other tucked up on the seat. Their vahanas are carved below the conch. Amongst them, Brahmini is 4-faced. Varahi has a face of a sow. Varahi is terrible in appearance. Brahmini wears a number of ornaments. All these matrikas are shown sporting a child on their left thighs by their front left hands. Their back hands display weapons and attributes. Narsimhi figure from Satna possesses 8 arms. She is lion-faced and seated in Ardha Priyanka pose on the back of a stylized lion. The Ashutosh Museum at Calcutta is in the possession of an image of Varahi. She has a fish in one of her right hand. Besides these, a unique image of the Vinayaki is in the collection of Indian Museum at Calcutta. The goddess is elephant-headed, seated with a rat in the pedestal. The Matrikas are usually 7 as evidenced by sculpture representations. The artists do not seem bound to the rigid numbers. Composite figures have been found showing the Divine Mothers in the groups of 2 or 3 only, or even as the groups of 8 or 9. The Matrikas seem to have been followed various modes of representations. Earlier form of the Matrikas in the Kushan period is without any distinctive motifs and symbols. They are rather shown seated, reclining or standing like ordinary female figures. They usually display Abhay Mudra in their hands, and they are flanked by 2 Ayudha Purushas carrying long spears and Abhay Mudra. Certain changes are introduced even in the Kushana period. Here the mothers are associated with babies either seated in their lap or standing nearby, and the 2 Ayudha Purushas are replaced by the figures of Veerabhadra and Ganesha. Gopinath Rao, in his work on Hindu iconography, explains the composite and separate images of the Divine Mother from Ellora, Belur and Kumbakonam in South India. They are elaborated forms of the Matrikas in which they display their respective weapons. In the composite group of the Divine Mothers at Ellora, the mounts are carved on the pedestal. They are adorned with haloed behind their head and flanked by the figures of Ganesha and Veerabhadra. In the end, I hope that you will be benefited by this lecture, knowing about the Matrikas in various forms. Thank you very much. Thanks.